church nearby the restaurant in the bell tower, with her husband Ray and Fudge the dog. And living in the bell tower like that, they used to have a lot of room downstairs where the pews used to be. Seeing as how they took out all the pews and having all that room, they decided that they didn't have to take out their garbage for a long time. We got up there, found the place was filled with garbage. We decided it'd be a friendly gesture for us to take the garbage down to the town dump. So we took the half a ton of garbage, put it in the back of a red VW microbus, took shovels and rakes and implements of destruction and headed on toward the town dump. We got there. There was a sign, a chain across the road saying, "Closed on Thanksgiving." And we had never heard of a dump being closed on Thanksgiving before. So with tears in our eyes, we drove off into the sunset, looking for another place to put the garbage. And we didn't find one till we come to a side road. And off of the side road, there was a 15-foot cliff, and at the bottom of the cliff, there was another pile of garbage. And we decided that, well, one big pile would be better than two little ones. Rather than bring that one up, we decided to throw ours down. And that's what we did, drove back to the church, had a Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, went to sleep and didn't get up until the next morning when we got a phone call from Officer Obi. He said, "Kid, we found your name on an envelope at the bottom of a half a ton of garbage. Just wanted to know if you had any information about it." I said, "Yes, sir, Officer Obi. I cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope under that garbage." It was after talking to Obi for about 45 minutes on the telephone that we finally arrived at the truth of the matter. And Obi said we had to go down and pick up the garbage. We also had to go down and talk to him at the police officer station. Now, friends, there was only one of two things that Obi could have done at the police officer station. The first thing was, well, he could have given us a medal for being so brave and honest over the telephone, which wasn't very likely, and we didn't expect it. And of course, the other possibility was that, well, he could have hauled us out and told us never to be seen driving garbage around the vicinity again, which is what we expected. But when we got to the police officer station, there was a third possibility we hadn't counted upon, and we was both immediately arrested, handcuffed. And I said, "Obi, I don't think I can pick up the garbage with these handcuffs on." He said, "Shut up, kid. Get in the back of the patrol car." We sat in the back of the patrol car and drove to the, quote, "scene of the crime," unquote. Now, friends, I want to tell you about the town of Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where this was happening. They got 3 stop signs, 2 police officers, and 1 police car. But when we got to the scene of the crime, there was 5 police officers and 3 police cars, being the biggest crime of the last 50 years, and everybody wanted to get in the newspaper story about it. And they was using up all kinds of cop equipment they had hanging around the police officer station. They was taking plaster tire tracks, footprints, dog-smelling prints, and they took 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one, explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. They took pictures of the approach, the getaway, the northwest corner, the southwest corner, and that's not to mention the aerial photography. And it was after the ordeal we went back to the jail, and Obi said he's going to put us in the cell. He said, "Kid, I'm going to put you in the cell. Give you a wallet and your belt." I said, "Obi, I can understand you wanting my wallet, so I don't have any money to spend in the cell. What do you want my belt for?" He said, "Kid, we don't want any hangings." I said, "Obi, did you think I was going to hang myself for littering?" Obi said he was making sure, and friends, Obi was, because he took out the toilet seat so I couldn't hit myself over the head and drown. Took out the toilet paper so I couldn't bend the bars, roll the toilet church, had another Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, went to sleep and didn't get up until the next morning when we all had to go to court. We walked in, sat down. Opie come in with the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. He sat down. A man come in. He said, "All rise!" And we stood up. And Opie stood up with the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures, and the judge walked in, sat down with a CNI dog. He sat down. We sat down. Opie looked at the CNI dog and at the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures and looked at the CNI dog. And Opie began to cry. Because Opie come to the realization that this was a typical case of American blind justice. There was no way the judge was going to look at the 27 8x10 colored back. It didn't matter. Because we was fined $25 each and we had to pick up the garbage in the snow. Of course, that's not what I come to talk about. Just thought I'd mention it. I want to talk a little bit about the draft, and for those that don't remember or weren't there, don't know, back in those days, we used to have a thing called the Selective Service system, which meant that when you was a guy and you turned 18, you had to register with the Selective Service so that you could select some kind of service that might be of interest to you. If your choice was none of the above, they would help you by making a selection for you. And to do that, they had buildings all around America, and they had one up in New York on Whitehall Street where you used to have to go in, get injected, inspected, detected, infected, neglected, and selected. And I remember I had to go in there one morning a long time ago for my physical examination. So I got good and drunk the night before, because I wanted to feel my best when I went in that morning. I mean, I wanted to feel like, I wanted to be like the all-American kid. When I went in that morning, I was hung down, I was brung down, I was hung up, I was all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly-looking things, and I walked in, I sat down. They gave me a piece of paper, said, "Kid, see the psychiatrist, room 604. I went in there. I said, "Shrink, I want to kill. I want to kill. I want to see blood, gore, guts, veins in the TV, dead, burnt bodies. I mean, kill, kill." And I started jumping up and down, yelling, "Kill, kill." And he started jumping up and down with me. And we was both jumping up and down, yelling, "Kill, kill, kill, kill." Till the sergeant come over, pinned the medal on me, sent me down the hall saying, "You're our boy." I didn't feel real good about it. But I proceeded on down the hall, getting more injections, inspections, and all kinds of stuff that they was doing to me at the thing there. And I was there for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. I was there for a long time, going through all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things. They was inspecting, injecting every single part of me, and they was leaving no parts untouched. But I proceeded through until I finally come to see the very last man. I walked up, I said, "What do you want to see me about?" He said, "Kid, we only have one more question. Have you ever been arrested?" And I told him the story of the Alice's restaurant massacre with five-part harmony, boom orchestration, all kinds of other phenomena. He stopped me again. He said, "Kid, did you go to court?" I told him the story, the 27 8x10 colored glossy pictures with the circles and arrows. He stopped me once more. He said, "Kid, I want you to go over and sit down on that bench that says Group W. Now, kid." You're the man! I went over there, Group W. Group W special crime. There was all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly-looking people on the bench next to me. And there was mother rapers, and, father stabbers, father rapers. There was father rapers sitting there on the bench next to me. I mean, these was mean, nasty, ugly, horrible, crime kind of guys. And the meanest, ugliest, nastiest one, the meanest father raper of them all, was coming over to me. And he sat down next to me and said, "Kid, what'd you get?" I said, "I didn't get nothing. I had to pay $25 and pick up the garbage." He said, "Kid, what was you arrested for?" I said, "Littering." And they all moved away from me on the bench there, giving me the hairy eyeball and all kinds of stuff, till I said, "I'm creating a nuisance." And then they all come back and shook my hand. We had a great time on the bench talking about crime, mother stabbing, father raping. We was smoking cigarettes and all kinds of stuff, having a good time. Till the sergeant come over. He had some paper in his hand. He held it up. He went like this. He said, "Give this piece of paper 47 words, 11 sentences. When all time the crime detail the crime, you got to say, came to about the crime, arrest an officer's name, kind of thing, got to say." And he talked for 45 minutes. Nobody understood a word he said. But we had fun filling out the forms, playing with the pencils on the bench. I wrote down the mastery like I was supposed to, and I put down my pencil. Turned over the piece of paper. And there on the other side of that piece of paper, in the middle of the other side, I mean away from everything else on the other side, underlined, capitalized, quotated, read the following words. "Kid, have you rehabilitated yourself?" I went over to the sergeant. I said, "Sergeant, you got a lot of call to ask me if I rehabilitated myself." I mean, I'm sitting here on the bench. I'm sitting here on the Group W bench because you want to know if I'm moral enough to join the army, earn women, kids, houses, children, villages after being a litter bag. He said, "Kid, we don't like your kind. We're going to send your fingerprints off to Washington." And friends, somewhere in Washington, enshrined in a little folder, is a study in black and white of my fingerprints. They're still there. They've been there 50 freaking years. But I'm not the only one. They've been adding to the collection recently. So the only reason I'm singing you the song tonight is because you may know somebody in a similar collection. Even some of you could be in a collection like that. And if you ever find yourself in a collection like that, or you don't know what to do, there may be only one thing well, there may not be anything you can do actually, but there's something you can try. And that's to be wherever it is you are as you work. Stop whatever you're doing, take a moment, go something like this, just say, "You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant." That's it. Just singing a couple of bars at Alice's restaurant. Imagine one person doing that. Probably not worth collecting. But imagine two of them trying to get married in Texas or something like that. Or three of them out in Idaho or Utah or something. Who knows? Or maybe 50 people tonight. Maybe 50,000 people stop whatever they're doing, start singing a little song. You get enough people doing something like that, even the people collecting will start joining in. And when you get a song worth joining in on, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, or where you come from, or who you are, it's what we used to call a movement. Now, one of these days, somebody's going to write a song like that. Might even be somebody here tonight. It's not this song. I can barely remember it myself. But while we're waiting for that one to get wrote, we can practice on the one we got. It's not that hard. It goes something like this. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Walk right in, it's around the back, just half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. basically sucked. You want to end war, you want to change the world, you got to be worth collecting. So we'll wait for it to come around again, give it another shot. I'm still not proud.